All right, we're just gonna go ahead and start. Good morning, everyone. This is Haley with PathMedic. Glad to see you all come in. I know some people are busy right now working, so I'll go ahead and send them the recording. But Mr. Chambers, I'll let you go ahead and get started.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Haley.
You're
So, good
welcome.
morning, everyone. My name is Randy Chambers. I am the loss control and marketing rep for your workers' comp insurance company, Healthcare Mutual, which means I'm the safety guy, for lack of better terms. So, what we offer for our insureds is the opportunity to participate in some safety trainings. Um, like you're going to have today. So, what we have selected for you all are some quick video trainings on body mechanics, which is how to safely assist and lift patients or clients, and then also how to prevent slips, trips, and falls. So, the way that our trainings work, I'm going to show you a video. I'm going to review some safety tips or some quick tips, things that you should take away from the videos. Um, at the conclusion of each one, and then we will get a roster up of everyone that attended or viewed this training after the fact, and you'll get a certificate in your employment file showing that you did participate in this training. So, unless you have any other questions before I get started, we're going to go ahead and start with one of the videos. Um, the share screen should show up, so you should be seeing the video as it plays in real time and the audio. If you cannot hear the audio after you start seeing some of the video play, let me know. It does have about 30 seconds of warnings at the beginning with no sound, and after that, if you can't hear anything, let me know, and we'll try to get that adjusted. So I'm going to go ahead. Haley, are you able to turn on the share screen option?
Okay, yes, let me go ahead and do that. Okay,
Perfect.
all right.
So we will start with body mechanics. Let me, sorry. Okay. Everyone able to hear the music and background noises that are playing?
The purpose of
Yes,
using
we can hear
proper body
everything.
mechanics is simple:
You can?
to prevent injury.
Yes.
Okay,
One
great.
of the most strenuous and potentially hazardous parts of our job is bending, stretching, and reaching. Did you notice how I said potential? Sure, there are potential hazards, but that doesn't mean they have to automatically result in injuries. Just the opposite. If you follow the procedures outlined in this video, the potential for injury can be greatly minimized or eliminated. That's the goal. But so you can better understand, let's look first at a few definitions. Musculoskeletal disorders, MSD. According to the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH, musculoskeletal disorders are injuries or disorders to the soft tissues in the body. How are MSDs caused? Many MSDs are associated with work tasks that involve force, heavy lifting, maintaining control of equipment or tools, frequency and repetition, performing the same motions, awkward posture, reaching, kneeling, squatting, twisting. Ergonomics is defined as the science of fitting workplace conditions and job demands to the capabilities of the working population. Body mechanics is how one lifts, pushes, pulls, or carries objects. So now that we've covered the definitions, let's take a look at basic principles that show you how you can stay healthy and pain-free. Remain close to the object. Use the largest and strongest muscles. Widen your base of support. Avoid twisting. Maintain your center of gravity. Push, roll, or slide. Utilize tools and assistive devices whenever possible. Besides using proper body mechanics, whenever possible, you always want to opt for using any tools or assistive devices that are available to prevent potential injuries to you and your client. The less stress on the body, the better, right? Of course, that's why it's important for you to understand what assistive devices are available to use and, of course, how to safely use them before starting care. The good news is that there are several assistive tools and devices that are easy to use and make your job safer. Non-slip shoes have proven to reduce the chance of slipping and falling and obtaining a musculoskeletal disorder or other injury. Soles are made of durable rubber and they feature traction support to reduce chances of slipping. There are a variety of designs and material, and they are offered at many department stores. A gait belt fits around the client's waist and provides a firm grasping surface, enabling the caregiver to assist with transferring a client who is partially dependent but is able to bear weight. The belt should be tightened to where you can fit 2 of your fingers between the belt and the client. Ensure that a layer of clothing is between the client and the belt to reduce the chance of abrasion. When transferring a client, they should be close to your body. Gait belts should not be used on clients who cannot bear their own weight, feel lightheaded or confused, have a skin disorder or rash in the trunk area, have recently had a fractured rib, recent surgery, severe heart or respiratory disease. Gait belts may not be suitable for ambulation with heavier clients or uncooperative clients. A hospital bed enables the caregiver to make adjustments with very little physical exertion by using electrical or crank adjustments on the bed. The bed can be lowered for clients who are at risk of falling and allows caregivers to care for the client with very little to no bending and makes it much more easier to reposition the client. Bed rails help prevent the client from falling out of bed. Bath boards fit along the sides or around the tub. They're used for clients who are partially weight-bearing with good sitting balance. It enables the caregiver to easily transfer the client in and out of the bath, bathe the client easily and safely, and reduce the chance of client slip or fall. Grab bars are usually found in the bathroom and help the client maintain their balance when getting up or sitting down. Grab bars can also reduce fatigue from standing. The trapeze bar is normally suspended from an overhead frame and enables the client to raise and reposition themselves in bed. The trapeze bar enables the caregiver to transfer the client more easily and assist the client with repositioning. A toilet seat riser decreases the distance to the toilet, reduces the amount of physical exertion, and enables the caregiver to easily transfer the client and assist with toileting. Hoyer lifts are used to lift and transfer a client. There are electronic, crank, and pump type lifts. The Hoyer lift enables the caregiver to safely and easily lift and transfer the client. It also reduces both the number of lifts and the overall amount of physical exertion. After you have become familiar with any necessary tools, devices, and you have a good understanding of how to use them, it's important to remember to assess the environment in which you will be providing care, as well as the client, to ensure they are feeling well, comfortable, and ready for the services that you are going to be providing. The proper assessment and plan for a transfer, ambulation, or lift can make the difference between a safe transfer and an injury for you or your client. Plan ahead to ensure safety. Is the home cluttered? Walkways obstructed? Is there enough light? Is there enough room to lift and transfer? Do you have the tools you need? Are there any animals in the home? Slip hazards, for example, loose rugs. Uneven or broken surfaces? If any hazards or obstacles exist, correct or remove them before attempting the transfer. Review the client's plan of care. Observe the size and weight of the client and any medical conditions. Identify any assistive devices the client is using or may need. First, prepare the client. Ask the client if he or she is ready to be moved. If transferring or lifting from a bed, lower the client's legs over the edge of the bed while helping him or her sit up. Make sure the gait belt is fastened securely. Ensure that a layer of clothing is between the client and the belt to avoid abrasion. Second, prepare your body. Position your feet shoulder-width apart, one slightly forward for wide base support. Maintain a firm, natural footing. Get as close to the client as possible. Keep your back straight. Let your legs do the work. Third, transfer the client. Stabilize the legs. Squat or bend knees. Divide weight between your client up. Use a rocking motion to help the client build up momentum to get to a standing position. Pivot with your feet. Do not twist at the trunk. Allow the client to rest for a few moments to make sure they have recovered from any dizziness. Keep in mind that the client should be able to bear some weight in the legs and/or arms, and/or a part of the weight is supported by an assistive device. When ambulating with a walker, stay behind the client, yet off to the side. Walk on the client's weaker side. Walk in the same pattern and pace as the client. When ambulating with a gait belt, keep one hand on the gait belt at all times and the other either lightly on the client's back or holding onto the belt at the side. If a client starts to fall during ambulation, slide your arms under the client's arm. Pull the client against your body. This should prevent the fall. If they continue to fall, guide the client to the floor with one foot in front of the other, using the large muscles of your legs. To reposition a client in bed, first communicate with the client so they are aware of what you're about to do. If possible, elevate the bed to minimize bending. Whichever direction you roll the client, place that arm across the chest. If you are going to the right arm will go across the chest. Bend the client's opposite knee. Roll the client over by putting your closest hand on their knee and the other under the client's shoulder. To sit the client up in bed, first communicate with them so they are aware of what you are about to do. Using the draw sheet, pull the client toward the head of the bed. If the client can assist, have them do so by pushing with their legs. If a family member can help, it makes the job much easier. When utilizing a Hoyer lift, again, communicate with the client. If possible, raise the bed to minimize bending. Place the sling at the edge of the bed. The lift should be nearby and its route clear of obstruction. Roll the client away from you and on their side. Push the sling directly behind the client's back. Then roll the client back towards you and on their side and flatten out the sling from the other side. Roll the client again so they are resting on their back and on top of the sling. Next, roll the bottom portion of the Hoyer as far under the bed as possible. The attachment bar should be directly above the client. If needed, lower the attachment bar so you are able to connect the sling. Connect the Hoyer chains or straps to the sling. Make sure that the longer chains or straps are at the bottom of the sling and the shorter chains or straps are at the top of the sling. Use the lever provided to slowly raise the client to a sitting position. Slowly raise the client until their buttocks is just above the bed. Slowly turn the client so their legs are facing the edge of the bed. Using the Hoyer steering handles, move the lift away from the bed. Move the client over the wheelchair. Make sure the wheels are locked on the chair and the lift. Pull the release tab on the Hoyer lift so the client is lowered slowly into the wheelchair. Before removing the sling from the lift, ensure that the client is stable. The client should never be left sitting in the Hoyer lift unattended. Remove the Hoyer sling if the client is going to be sitting for a long period of time. Don't leave it in the wheelchair. Never attempt to use equipment that is not functioning properly and report concerns immediately to the care center for assistance. Do not attempt to use a Hoyer lift if you do not feel comfortable using it or you do not recall how to use it. Immediately report to the care center so that training can be done. If a client falls, stay calm. Don't panic. Ask the client if they are okay. Ask the client if he or she can try to get up. If the client cannot get up, call 911 for assistance. Never attempt to lift the client off the ground if they cannot assist. Never leave your client before assistance arrives. If the client is able to get up, tell them to roll to their side slowly and crawl or position themselves in front of a piece of furniture that is stable to support them. Facing the front of the furniture, have them slowly begin to rise while bending whichever knee is stronger, while keeping the other knee on the floor. Slowly turn around and sit. Sit for a few minutes after the fall to recover. If the client is injured and if medical treatment is needed, call 911. Always contact the care center to report any and all client falls. Body mechanics. It's really just being mindful of how you move while you work and maintaining proper postures to prevent injuries. Your job can be demanding. Your job can be strenuous, but there's no need to experience pain or discomfort. There's a safe way to do everything, as well as assistive devices to make your job easier and safer. If you don't know the safe way, don't take a chance. Ask questions. You've only got one body to do your job with. Take care of it, and it will take care of you. Thank you.
Okay, everyone. So that was body mechanics. I'm going to go over just a few key takeaways from the video, and then we'll move on to slip, trips, and falls. So, of course, proper body mechanics, that is the key to preventing injury when working with patients. A proper assessment and plan for transfer, ambulation, or lift does make the difference between a safe transfer or an injury for you and the client or patient. Heavy lifting, repetition of movement, reaching or twisting can cause musculoskeletal disorders, discomfort, and pain. Bath boards, gait belts, toilet seat risers, and trapeze bars can all assist with moving and lifting patients. Always be sure to communicate with your patient or client before moving or transferring them. Slip-resistant shoes are a great tool to use to help prevent injuries when working with patients. If you're unsure of how to use a piece of equipment, always ask your supervisor. When you are transferring a patient or client, make sure your body is close to theirs to allow for less stress and strain on you and the patient. If you stick with some of those key takeaways and tips from the video, hopefully your job will be injury-free. Were there any questions about body mechanics? Okay, I don't see or hear any, so at this time we will move on to slips, trips, and falls.
Slips, trips, and falls. Just part of the job, right? Wrong. Slip, trip, and fall hazards exist everywhere, but that doesn't mean a slip, fall, or injury has to occur. They don't. That's what this program is all about, what you can do to help reduce slip, trips, and falls for you and your clients. Slips, trips, and falls are the second most common cause of injury for home and community health workers. These types of accidents can result in serious disabling injuries and have a major impact on your ability to perform your job, and may result in lost work days, reduction in productivity, or diminished ability to care for a client. You can be injured by a slip, trip, or fall both inside and outside a client's home. Hazards inside the home include uneven or slippery floors, such as recently mopped floors, or wet bathroom floors when assisting with showering or bathing a client, wrinkled or worn carpet and curling vinyl tiles, rugs on tile, clutter in hallways and on stairs, stairs themselves, electrical cords that cross walking areas, open drawers, throw rugs and mats. Hazards outside the home may include surfaces such as sidewalks, steps, and wooden ramps covered with water, ice, snow, leaves, moss, or other debris, uneven sidewalks or curbs, holes hidden in the grass or sprinklers, debris or items left on the sidewalks and pathways, poor lighting, and animals and pets. If your client has a pet in the home, you should ask that they put the animal in another place, other than where you are attending to or providing care during your shift. This will prevent the animal from jumping on you, causing you to fall backwards, getting in your way, or getting in between you and the client during services, or even biting you. Being prepared by ensuring you have the tools you need to safely do your job, and by assessing your environment prior to starting any shift, such as removing trip hazards, is the best way to reduce your chances of obtaining an injury from a slip, trip, or fall. Remember this: slips and falls are preventable. You see, most slips, trips, and falls are caused by not paying attention to where you walk. How is that? Well, take this for example. The carpet was folded, but did that really cause the trip? Not exactly. If she had been watching where she walked, she would have seen the hazard and taken the second or two to correct it. The result? No trip for her or for anyone else walking by. Keep your shoes on while you work, and always wear slip-resistant footwear. Watch for hazards inside and outside the home, and take the steps necessary to minimize your risk. Rinse and dry floors after cleaning to remove any slippery residue from cleaning products. Use handrails when climbing up and down stairs. Carry loads in both hands to keep your balance, and look where you are going. How about bathrooms? Lots of trip and slip hazards here. Watch out for rugs, towels, and wet slippery surfaces. Instead of walking across the client's front yard, where there could be holes hidden in the grass, use walkways and sidewalks. Be especially careful when walking on uneven, wet, or icy surfaces. Should a slip, trip, or fall result in an injury, immediately contact your direct supervisor or the care center to report the injury or illness. All employees have a right to report any injuries or illnesses without fear of retaliation. The organization is prohibited from discharging or in any manner discriminating against employees for reporting work-related injuries or illnesses. If medical treatment is necessary, your supervisor or the care center will direct you to the nurse triage for assistance. All injuries must be reported before the end of your shift. If the injury is an emergency situation, dial 911. But the goal is prevention. Nobody wants an injury to occur, and by following the steps outlined in this program, you'll be doing your part. Be aware of your environment and potential hazards. Correct hazards when you can before they contribute to an injury. Most importantly, watch where you walk. If you do this, most slips, trips, and falls can be prevented.
All right, everyone. So now I'm going to go over a few tips for slips, trips, and falls. So as the video stated, any slip, trip, or fall is preventable. The bathroom area always presents many slips, trips, and falls. So we always want to be especially alert when we're helping someone in a bathroom or restroom area. You should always use a handrail when going up or down stairs. Um, Always correct something that could be a slip, trip, or fall hazard. Slips, trips, and falls are the second most common injury in the home and community health workplace. Animals are also a common slip, trip, and fall hazard, so we want to always ask clients or patients that we're working with in the home to please put their animals away. Always pay attention to where you walk. Watching where you are walking is the best way to prevent a slip, trip, or fall. Some key areas to look at when you're trying to prevent slips, trips, and falls are rugs that are on hard surfaces or tile floors, any clutter that might be in the walkway, or staircases. So those were slips, trips, and falls and body mechanics. Were there any questions for me today as we finish up our safety training?
If there's anything that you didn't understand, go ahead and ask Mr. Chambers while he's here.
No questions for me.
No questions? Okay. Rihanna, Rochelle, do you have any questions?
No, I
No
don't.
questions.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was my pleasure being with you all today for the safety training. I hope we are able to do this again sometime. And if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out.
Okay, yes, Mr. Chambers, thank you so much for
Thank you.
today. And
Have a
also
great
the
day.
employees, you too. And the employees, can you stay behind so I can have a quick chat with you all? Okay, so
Thank you.
thank you for attending. I really appreciate it. I will also be sending the recording to you all, as well as just 5 questions for you to answer that of what we went over today. And I also have some house stuff to cover with everyone. So from now on, when it comes to clocking in and clocking out, it has to be done on time. So let's say you go to the shift, you might be like 5 minutes late. Go ahead and finish that shift completely. So if you go in 5 minutes late, you leave 5 minutes late. Make sure you complete that whole shift. Okay. And then also, I'm sorry, let me bring it up so I don't make sure I don't miss anything. And also, when it comes to timesheets, they are due on Mondays by 12 noon. Anything that comes after 12 noon is marked late. And so you might not get it on the paycheck you're supposed to. It might come the paycheck after because it wasn't turned in on time. The next thing would be is to remind everyone about your CPR training. So if you know your CPR is about to expire or is already expired, please be proactive in getting that renewed. And if you need somewhere to go to get it done, we could recommend someplace. So go ahead and reach out to us after the meeting closes, and I will send that information to you via email. And then also CNAs, it is your responsibility to renew your licenses. So please get that done. And I believe I covered, oh no, one last thing. So if the client has a doctor's appointment, please let us know 3 days ahead of time so that we could go ahead and let the caseworker know. Because if not, then you would have to clock out when the client is leaving to go to that appointment because you aren't authorized to go with them or to work while you're with them. But besides that, that is everything. Does anyone have any questions?
Not at this time.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for taking the time out of your day. And I hope you have a good day. Thank you again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.